everyone, welcome back to my channel, Lenox Justifier of Innocence, created by Zeus and Demeter to save humanity. I am Lenox, and this is Mr. Buddy. He is the guard dog. Now before we get started today, I did just want to say that I hope you guys are having an amazing weekend, and I wanted to say welcome back. I also wanted to apologize to you for getting this video out a little bit later than initially anticipated due to some technical difficulties. Today's episode is the final part 6 of the Evolving of Women and Children. As always, before we start, I just wanted to do a quick reminder to let you know that although all the stories are loosely based on current world events, they are all carried out in fantasy missions. All the characters are fictitious, and everything is carried out in fiction, imagination, and speculation. Now let's get started with today's adventure. Enjoy the show. In the darkest depths of the ocean, where unimaginable, scary-looking creatures lurk, a place where no human would ever go, or could ever go, avoided by most other sea life. That is where Poseidon's prison is. Poseidon was pacing back and forth Putantero's cell, snarling at him, giving him the death stare. Putantero puffed up his chest, broadening his shoulders, the two of them facing off in a battle of masculinity. Like the dance between two gorillas wanting to mate with the same female. But there was no female, just good versus evil.
You're lucky these bars are holding me back, or I'd rip your face off.
Oh, how like my niece ripped into yours, you pathetic loser.
Knock it off, you two. Bad enough I had to use my she cave to house this fool. I don't want to hear you two squawking.
It is not a she cave. It's a prison cell.
Well, I repurposed it. I need my quiet space, Poseidon.
That is not.
Amphitrite cut him off, redirecting the conversation. Have you spoken with Lenox yet? She has some important matters to discuss with you.
I will go call her now. Keep an eye on him.
Poseidon went to call Lenox. On his way up, he instructed a wretched-looking giant squid-like creature to look after Amphitrite and Putantero, while he stepped away, grumbling, "If he makes a move, I will rip the rest of his face off." Hey, Uncle. Thanks again for holding
It is my
Putantero.
pleasure. I would do more if the ultimate creator allowed it. Though I must confess, I'm doing my best to keep a close watch on him. Unfortunately, I was unaware Amphitrite had repurposed the holding cell as a she cave. During the remodel, she compromised some of the security locks. So for safe measure, I will watch him, and when I cannot, I will have Lernian Hydra take
I'm not sure
watch.
what that is.
A 9-headed serpent creature that if you cut off a head, 2 more grow back. It is monstrous and vicious.
Sounds intense. Listen, before we get off track, the reason I wanted to speak with you is I do need one more thing from you. Olgard mentioned a concept at first. I was not keen on it. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Interesting. Go on.
Well, you see, I won't align myself with such evil, not even for a moment. However, if Putantero were to learn of Oba Kasanama's plan, he would momentarily forget about tormenting and destroying humanity, diverting all of his attention to destroying these monsters, trying to take what he believes is his instead.
Very clever. So what do you need me to do?
Simply plant the seed. Let it slip that they plan on overthrowing Hades and ruling all. If he does escape, he will go right to them, making it easier for us to take all of them down. Now, that doesn't mean that I want you to allow him to escape. It's just a safeguard that if he does escape, it's not going to compound our problem.
I see. Smart. I will let it slip per se. But I will need to definitely do those repairs so that he cannot escape. My apologies for this minor hiccup. Infiltrate does as she pleases.
I gathered as much. It's not a problem. I appreciate your assistance with this. Lenox went to speak with Amalia. I spoke with Poseidon. He's going to plant the seed. Now we just need to plan the takedown. I also spoke with those brave patriots. They're diligently working on exposing all of the corruption. All of the truth behind the absolving of women and children is coming out.
That's so great. The social media influencers, YouTubers, TikTok, all social media except FB and Insta are working hard on getting the word out. Even Twitter is doing amazing.
Well, yeah, Twitter is a lot better now that Elon took it over. I'm not surprised about FB and Insta. Look who runs it. But keep posting. If we post enough, more people will see it before it gets taken down.
I hope Elon takes those two platforms over as well. Zucker jerk. There's going to be a conference in D.C. next weekend. Leaders from around the globe are attending, including former presidents, except for Trump. They excluded him.
Of course they did. He may have a few minor character flaws, but he's one of the good ones. Unafraid to speak his mind, put himself in the line of fire for the love of his country and his people.
Oh, I know. I just wish he would tone it down a bit so people would listen.
I don't. Though at times I cringe at what comes out of his mouth because it's so unfiltered, unscripted, that rawness about him, that's what makes him more sincere in his intentions. I find it refreshing. That's also what I love about Elon, Matt, and Candace. They are fearless, strong, with a lot of heart and a backbone, that unfiltered raw nature to speak without thinking with such passion and conviction. We need a lot more of that. This world has become accustomed to filters, both in speech and in images. Nothing's real. It's all delusions and dishonesty.
I agree. Well, this weekend, the world will get a taste of raw honesty when we open up a can of whoop ass on these goons.
Hell yeah! Survey the area. Find all points of entry and exits. Disable security communications. I don't want them to see what's coming. I'm going to head and train with the crew. This battle is going to get brutal between all the security, and I'm sure there's going to be some rioting going on.
The only thing I'm worried about is our friends in the FBI.
Don't worry about that. Our friends that work there work in a completely different department. We're going to take extra precaution to make sure that no innocents are hurt. Once the truth is revealed and justice is served, the only ones that will have a problem with us is the evildoers. Lenox went to train with the crew. All of them were training hard. Krav Maga, weapons training, restraint techniques. We can only use our powers on those who are most evil. Spare the ones just doing their jobs. Lenox, do you need me to summon my people? Actually, yes. They are so tiny, they can infiltrate areas Amalia can't survey and provide us with guidance. That would be great. They are becoming stronger, and some of them even have their wings coming back. That's great to hear. Soon they're going to be back to where they once were, and they're going to remain that way because I will protect them. As will I. I too am starting to get my wings back. They are tiny right now, but I expect they will be full grown shortly. Watch out, flying fairy with bullet and fire shooting eyes. Dangerous. I was unsure whether I should clip them again to stay hidden. No need. All those bad things happened to you and your kind before I was of age to fulfill my destiny. I'm not going to allow anything like that to ever happen again.
And we won't either.
And we won't either.
The crew sounded off. The weekend was finally here. We set off to battle. Amalia guided us through. The fairies spread out, watching from above so they can go unnoticed. Crowds of people protesting outside. Carlita and A, Bully, and Vitrani persuaded the guards to give them a tour, while Lenox and the Triple Bros crawled through the ductwork. They were able to find an opening on the roof. The guards were preoccupied surveying the massive crowds below that they went unnoticed. Quietly, they made their way through the ducts, searching for the main conference room. Lexa and Olgard took post among the crowds of protesters to keep them under control. Our influencers and Patriots friends came through. The word was out. People were holding signs in outrage of finding out the truth about the absolving of women and children, calling for the current administration to step down pending investigation. People's eyes were opening, and this brought hope. But along with it was anger, disgust, and vengeance. We must try to keep them from doing something that would compromise the mission. Meanwhile, down in Poseidon's kingdom, Putintero was stewing over the news of Obacasanama trying to take over the underworld. His eyes of fire, but being underwater, they could not ignite.
I shall break free and destroy them all, including
Poseidon's giant
Hades,
squid
that
was working
traitor.
on the cell, repairing the damage that amphitrite caused. Awfully hypocritical, he thought to himself, angry at Hades when he too is plotting a betrayal. Putintero noticed a weak point in the cell. He looked about. No sign of Poseidon, but he did notice the Lernian Hydra. He would have to find a way to distract it so that he could break free. No point in trying to cut any of its heads off. They just multiply, he thought to himself. Back at the conference, Lenox with the Triple Bros took their position. Amalia, let us know when Obacasanama enters. At that point, they will drop down. Bully, Vitrani, and Carlita and A were still touring with the guards, trying to persuade them to give them a sneak peek into the conference room. But they were hesitant. So Bully then decided to suffocate them until they passed out. They entered, and they quickly found hiding spots. Olgard and Lexa in the crowds that was growing increasingly hostile. Mr. Buddy was waiting with his Animal Kingdom friends in the little wooded area that surrounded the center. Bijan, and his cronies and the world's leaders began to enter the room. But there was no sight or sign of Obakasanama yet. As he finally approached the room, making his way in, Lenox was about to drop down when they heard a loud boom come from outside in the crowd. A brawl had broken out. Olga and Lexa began to fight. Mr. Buddy instructed the animal kingdom to stay back. He was going to try to contain the situation. He walked about, lifting his leg to let out a steam cloud of a horrible stench. When they hear an explosion, someone threw a smoke bomb, trying to smother the stench Mr. Buddy had released, but it had caught fire. All hell was breaking loose. In the conference room, they began to scramble to try to take cover. Lenox dropped down to stop Obakasanama from escaping. They faced off. The triple bros dropped down from the ducks to try to keep Bijan and his cronies from escaping the room. The fairies yelled out to Carlita and A, "There's a secret escape in the back." Carlita signaled to Bully and Vitrani. They went through the secret escape to capture Bijan. The triple bros were halted by the Secret Service men. All of them were fighting. Obakasanama stared Lenox in the eyes. A wicked, creepy grin crept across his face. Then his eyes began to glow, a greenish-yellow hue, and he doubled in size. An armor covered his body. Lenox still towered over him. "Well, what do you know? You're a mutant." He swung at her, missing as she ducked down, spinning her leg around, knocking him off his feet. "That means I can kill you." He rolled super fast, disappearing.
Amalia, did you see where he went?
Not yet. I'm trying to see where the crew went off to. I'll let you know as soon as I see
Vision
them.
and his cronies made their way to the caravan of SUVs, trying to get to the jet center while the crew pursued them. "Lenox, he's coming out of the other side of the building." Lenox made her way over. In the streets, chaos was erupting. All were fighting. Mr. Buddy, in his service dog disguise, directed the animal kingdom to come help Leska and Olgard contain the riot. Leska and Olgard continued to fight. "Could use some help over here." Leska was growing weary. Lenox looked back at Olgard. He was about to engage his powers. "Olgard, don't!" Lenox released a surge of energy to hold Obakasanama while she went to help Leska and Olgard. Mr. Buddy was using his weapon ball to keep more people back. They were all storming over to fight. Lenox knew that energy surge wouldn't hold Obakasanama for long. She couldn't let anything happen to Leska and Olgard, so she leaped into the sky, arms out. Electric waves poured from her hands, causing those with malicious intentions to fall down, convulsing. The others were paralyzed in fear. Suddenly, Putintero emerged from the sea. Poseidon grabbed his ankle, trying to prevent his escape. He outsmarted the giant squid and used him as a shield against the linear hydra, allowing him to reach the surface. Then Hades appeared from the underworld. The two brothers, Hades and Poseidon, began to fight. Under the sea they went. Putintero was free.
He squared off with Oba-Kasanama. A fight ensued. The energy surge holding Oba-Kasanama had worn off, and Putintero was still weak. He was knocked to the ground. Lenox shot Oba-Kasanama with her golden arrow. He wrenched in pain. Putintero got up and took a swing. "Thanks," he yelled.
I wasn't helping you.
Lenox lunged into the air to shoot Putintero when the jet flew by. Both monsters grabbed a side each, escaping. Lenox frustrated, for she felt that she had failed when she heard Demeter's voice. "Don't worry, my child, for this is the first of many battles to come. It took 100 years for evil to gain such power over humanity. It cannot be saved in one day. You have made great progress, and you severely weakened them both, exposing Bijan and his administration. The people now have the power amongst themselves to act. What if they join forces against us?" "That's unlikely, my child. Their pride, greed, and lust for power will keep that from happening." Demeter disappeared. Lenox looked down to see clouds of smoke. The animals were retreating. The fighting had ceased. There were paddy wagons, sirens, ambulances everywhere. She went down to the ground. She could see that the crew was approaching. Abaddon yelled out,
"Hey, don't worry, Lenox. We did a lot of damage to the jet. They're not going to get very far at all."
It suddenly got very loud. The crowd had begun to cheer. All were thanking Lenox and the crew.
Don't thank us yet.
We have quite the mess to clean up here.
What is our next move, Lenox?
On the hands of the American people. They know the truth, and we were able to stop the eradication of women and children. All truth has been exposed. Those who were exploited, they're going to have to pay for their crimes. As far as Oba-Kasanama and Putintero, they have been penetrated by golden arrows, and those arrows are going to continue to drain them of their powers until they manage to get them pulled out. Though we are still in a war to save humanity, this battle has been won.
So that is going to conclude this mini-series titled The Absolving of Women and Children. As I mentioned in the last video, I am going to be putting it into a playlist so that those of you who are a little bit behind or those of you who are new to the channel, you can go into the playlist, and all of the mini-series are going to be grouped together in separate categories so that you can easily find them and follow along. The other thing I wanted to say, in this upcoming week, the story is going to be slightly different. So we're going to take a little break, a pause from the saving of humanity, and I'm going to be writing a story based on a request sent to me from a fellow patron who would like to see fantasy justice carried out for an injustice that she has suffered. So this week is going to be dedicated to those requests. And I hope that you guys are having a lot of fun with this. I am going to continue to take requests, so if you have any ideas or any, not ideas, but if you have any injustices in which you'd like to see fantasy justice carried out for, you want me to write a story for it, I will be more than happy to do so. You can just put it in the comments, or you can email me directly, and I will look into the details of the story, and I will write an episode just for you. So I hope that you guys have an amazing rest of your weekend, and I will see you next week for the new start of our stories based on your requests. As always, please take care of yourselves. Thank you for watching, and God bless.